right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about sensory processing, as I often do. I got a long drive ahead of me, so figured I'd do a little stream of consciousness, talk a little bit off the cuff as about this. Why? 2 reasons. 3 reasons. Number 1, I'm existing in it. Right now, as I am talking to this camera, I am doing everything in my power to offset sensory overload or sensory discomfort. It's not always overload. Sometimes it's just like a little scratch. It's not a full-blown cut. Sunglasses, but that's normal. Just the way I'm sitting, everything is constantly, my type of shirt material, my sweats I'm wearing, everything has got to be, not to be narcissistically comfortable, because I always want to clarify that, because literally my skin can feel like it's on fire. My insides can feel like they're twisting and inside out. My hearing can be like the volume is on 12. My eyesight, it can burn. That's why. And again, there's ways that I can get myself in calmer states during the identical stimuli and not be as effective. That's the fuckery of it all, is that, you can sometimes, it's usually just coping. I'm never not like, the way people just exist and they don't like regard this stuff and they don't overthink it or feel it so strongly. It could be a thought, not a thought, connected to a feeling. That state I can't really get into, but I can get into like where it's kind of buffered somewhat, in a way, or I just isolate and hibernate. That's why I like nature, because there's nothing really in nature that ever does that to me. Even if it's like too cold, it's just different. It's a physical normal, not a sensory-based sensation that becomes so overwhelming. So talk about it, right? Because I experienced. Second one is, this is what dogs go through. People just talk about conditioning, instinct, and then also like if a dog is like I'm not making a conscious decision. I'm not saying I want to be sensory overloaded now. Make me be this way. I guess I can generate like I call it heat. Like you get yourself worked up and get like you're gonna go play a sport or you're gonna get serious. Right now I got to do it. It's go time. But that's different. But yeah, dogs, when they're having reactivity, it's like a meltdown. That's all it is. It's a dog version of a meltdown. Dogs are having anxiety. It's because they're hypervigilant and they don't know how to handle transitions and they don't have proper guidance. And that's why a lot of people on the spectrum, especially high functioning, they just need some support and guidance. Someone to say it's okay. Someone to tell them what's going on. Someone to advocate for them. Someone to do a step ahead of them and, coordinate certain things. I had it once in my life. It was wonderful, but that's not realistic, I guess, long term. But dogs need that. Dogs exclusively need that because they can't self-navigate. They can't go to therapy. They can't become actualized. And again, even me, I am self-aware. I've done tons of work on myself on every level, and I don't think I'm getting much better unless I can meditate and exercise and eat right and navigate. And a lot of it's just being realistic with myself that I just cannot handle certain circumstances, and unless I have no other option, I avoid them. Case in point, when I had my issue with getting my blood drawn, right? I know if it was an emergency, I'd be forced, but it'd be hell. Like when I was a kid at the dentist, it traumatized me. They strapped me down once and forced all this shit on me when I was a kid. It's like they didn't understand. I thought I was just being a brat. I thought I was just being a stubborn kid. I was actually a sweet little boy. I was so kind. I loved animals. I wanted people to like me. I didn't wake up every day trying to do the wrong thing. But after you get treated a certain way, after a while, you start becoming frustrated and angry and defensive. And I'll admit that's partially where I become as an adult, because even to this day, people misinterpret you. You're trying to be friendly in the conversation with your neighbor. You can tell like they don't understand why well, how's your day? And instead of just saying, I'm fine, how are you? It's just hard. It's just weird to do. It doesn't seem right. So instead we're going to be genuine and say, well, my best friend died, this and that. And they're like, whoa. And it's like, well, we're neighbors. Don't we get to know each other a little, know what's inside? Normal people aren't like that. Again, this is what I go into the groups of people that are neurodivergent adults, and we're like, yeah, what's wrong with that? We don't mean any harm. Of course we don't. But the way people treat us, it really, it's like we're being treated like we're narcissists or something, like we have bad intention. You know, people on the spectrum I know, they're the most loyal, capable people that you give them a job, it's going to get done. They can't not get it done. They might need specific instructions. They might need conditions, you know, but if they have the right conditions met, and especially if you're tapping into their special interest, oh boy, why do you think I've been able to actually make a successful career as a disabled person, as a dog trainer? Because it's been my special interest, and I just somehow figured out a way to make a living. It's just this series of events and my personal tenacity, and I do think growing up in a family of entrepreneurs, I was able to kind of mimic that and take steps and do things and have a mindset that, you know, I do give my family credit for that, for you know, giving me that to observe. No one in my family had a my stepfather did. He worked, but he was a salesman. He was kind of independent. He went off and did his own thing. But yeah, my dad had stores. My mom had her own nutrition counseling company and health food company. Yeah, my brother's a psychologist, works for himself. Let me see. My grandmother, she worked for A.H. Robbins, a company that makes Robitussin. And yeah, both my grandfather, my step grandfather and my grandfather both had their own companies, an engraving company and a process serving company, served subpoenas. I used to work for him actually. When I was 16. I'll tell stories about that. It was crazy back in New York. I was 16 years old, going into the worst projects in New York, and yeah, like serving subpoenas to these people. Like anyway, but yeah, so I don't know, I just like to articulate it. I like it to be understood. I like people to realize what even, you know, the hard part for me is when I share this, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to get these people who hear this, who are clients, who were considering being clients, and they just wanted dog training behavior. They don't want this bullshit. They don't want some weird guy who struggles socially in their house. Trust me, when I'm with you and your dog, I am fine. I don't share this with people, but they're like, you? I'm like, you see me in my A game mode, the best optimum way, yeah, and proven by people have me coming back. Now, some of it I understand, and I'm well aware, I'm reading this people, they don't really get, they can't jive without I'm talking, but they know I mean well, and they see their dog listens to me and likes me, and their dog's calm around me and all that, so they're like, well, I gotta use this guy. Usually, especially when I'm like, they've already been through some trainers, and I'm like, I guess I'm stuck with this autistic weirdo. Other people, they kind of first can deal with me, and then maybe I get too comfortable, or they just hear me talk too much, or say too many extra things, or I get too rigid, because they think I'm gonna tell them it's okay when they haven't done the homework. If they're not being consistent, and I see it in their dog's response to the training in our sessions, I'm going to say something, and they don't like that, you know, and that's someone who cares. That's someone who's there to get some work done. If I kept building you an extension on your house, and at night when I went home and I came back the next day, you had removed some of the, you know, the boards, the framing, whatever, I'd be, excuse me, I'm like, oh, it's okay, we'll just pay you to keep coming back. That's not how this works. I also have other customers that I have to service, so me now taking extra time with your case because you didn't want to be consistent when I was upfront about that when you first called me before you spent a penny on this, so there was no surprises, no bait and switch here. Yeah, and then you know, so some of they just don't want to deal with that or hear me keep pushing them or hear the way I talk, and then they kind of phase out. That happens. I try to reel them in and tell them the merit, and if they stick with it, blah, blah, blah. But again, I can't invest more of me into this and my emotions. That's the mistake I've made over the years. And then I'm the one holding the bag where my inner peace, my heart, my level of care for those that are doing the work gets affected. Yeah, so that's usually it. I think I said there was 3. Let's see, it was, again, they see me talk about it and they just, I don't want to deal with it. They deal with it and they can't deal with me or that. Yeah, and they just can't, yeah, it's just that. Or they just like, it's not me, it's just the work to change. And that's the most negative. Majority of people, they do the program, their dog does better, they're happy, and they send me cool things that I post about. I always say why I do what I do. That's what my phrase I say when I post like screen captures of texts and comments from clients and, you know, how I've helped them. It makes me feel good. That's really why I do it. The money doesn't feel like anything. The money's just a way to like exist. I live very basic now. But it feels good. It's like, well, it's a purpose. It's why I wake up every day for some reason to live, because it's very challenging sometimes to see. I'm glad I have that. But yeah, but again, I think that's why clients do stick with me, even though I might talk. It's not that I talk different. I know I talk but when I'm talking, it's not natural. Like, I'm thinking of combinations. I'm very conscious of what I'm saying, and when I'm talking dog, I can, or something I'm comfortable with, or in a situation. But once I start going to the store to check out, and again, they ask me, hi, how are you? I short circuit. Even when people call me on the phone, it's like I have to follow the script. Hello, instead of getting right to it. I'm like thinking like, oh, I don't want to waste people's time. They're busy. These people I work with, clients, a lot of them are successful, work hard, they have families they're dealing with, life problems. Like, why do they want to be on the phone with this dog trainer guy? They just want to know how I can help him, how much, and when I can see him. So, oh, hi, Brett. Yeah, hi, I'm getting back to you about the training. Any questions? But I know some people get off put by that, but it's like, again, but if I do this and it's so uncomfortable, and someone heard me on a call and said I should do, I would love if you shared more with me about your situation, or I'd love to hear more about your dog, even though I know why they're calling me. I know exactly the issue. They usually have sent me a message or left a message or a text before I spoke to them, but that's considered rude to them because, and I don't know, it's just, I'm kind of busy too. If I have 5 people that call me in a day, they want my training. I've got locations in Alaska and Los Angeles, and I got people also just calling me from other places for Zoom training. So, I'm doing my best, and I do want to be run a good business. So I want to call you back but it's like, what do you want to talk about? Yes, I know your dog's a good dog. Yes, I know your dog's a rescue. I know what it went through. The poor dog. The rescue gave you the whole sob story. Can we take care of business because your dog's miserable? Or when I come to a house and I see the dog, especially after we've met and you know what to do now, because we usually will go through, like, if it's a greeting or prior to a walk, what to do. And I was like, great, I'm here, opportunity. Your dog's going wild, do training. It's like, I've had people, literally narcissists, only narcissists react like this. Oh, good to see you too, Brett. Like, because I didn't say hi, how are you? It's like your dog is freaking out there in front of you. They need someone to step up here and now as another dog is in the moment. Social graces don't matter. And take care of it. Get your dog at your side in a command. Heal your dog. Get your dog to focus on you and stop freaking out or pulling you or trying to jump on me as a new guest because you're standing there more concerned about your own personal ego being stroked because I didn't ask how you are, because I'm not there to ask how you are. I'm there to help you with your dog. I'm sure you're fine. If there was an emergency, you know what? I'd be the first person to drop everything and help you with that. But people take it offensive because they again, I see what's going on, but it's like, I gotta play this little game. This is what people on the spectrum are saying. Our little secret meeting groups, this is what we all talk about and make fun of because it's silly. It's so childish and so self-fulfilling emotionally and psychologically, instead of like, can you just be like, take the software out of your computer and upload some new programs, like reality programs, instead of existing in yourself. And I know why. It's a coping mechanism. We're all going to die, and people are scared of that fact, and they don't want to exist raw, unfiltered, seeing it. Well, I got news for you. That's how your dog's existing. So you own a dog. Your dog's not happy, probably because you're thinking too much that way and projecting a lot of stuff on your dog that has nothing to do with them or accommodation of their needs. And they're acting out because your dog's smart and keen, just like your autistic child, your autistic spouse, ADHD, same thing. People kind of in that realm of hypervigilant thinking. People get annoyed at us for the things that we have, and we struggle with things that could be easy for those people because they live in a more social, ego-aggrandizing type of world and society or existence in their own head. And we're just kind of trying to take care of the business at hand. Thank you so much for listening to these. These are helpful for me. I like sharing. I think I can articulate some of these points. And really, it all boils down to helping others, helping the dogs first and foremost, because that's my job, and tying into maybe why I see it the way I do, and my system of training can help make sense to understand, why I do it to help your dog. And people on the spectrum, I really want more people like me to connect, to feel that you're not alone, because it helps me a lot to realize, like, you're not crazy. that gaslighting is all those people. You're not making this up like some weirdo schizo. You're like seeing something or thinking something that doesn't exist. You see it as it inherently exists, and it freaks people out because it's too real for their egos to handle. Because it takes them out of themselves. So again, I want to create more people, or maybe we can get some programs teaching more people like me how to train dogs. We make amazing dog trainers because we can connect with the animals. We see these patterns. We see what, it's, I think, a pretty good profession for people, and we can talk about it in a way that just kind of downloads the information about it to people who need the help, or we can work with the dogs and then, have someone else talk to the clients after you do the handling for like boarding and training or group settings. So I think the sky's the limit on that too. Anyone who hears this and is interested in some ideas with that, I'd love to talk to. Anyway, thank you. Subscribe, share, go on my other social media at the Dog Savant, and Dog Training LA and dogtrainingak.com for my training services and my online training.